When are you going to get started? For the longest time, I was always waiting for somebody to come and save me. I was always waiting for a job to fall into my lap, for my diet to just get itself under control, for a girlfriend to just fall into my life, for the life that I wanted to live to seemingly work itself out. And it wasn't until I had an experience in my life that scared me shitless that I realized how much of my life I was wasting. I came eye to eye with death. And many people did not receive that blessing that I received. And I'm bestowing the knowledge onto you that I received from that, which is to wake the fuck up. Now, what do I mean by wake the fuck up? I mean to be in conscious control of what it is you do every single day and to have a meaningful why and purpose behind what it is that you are doing. I think many of us from a very young age were indoctrinated into the school systems, we're indoctrinated into the churches, we're indoctrinated, period, by our parents or anything around us, hometown, whatever, on what we should do. And many of us get into this habit of drifting through life and never actually asking ourselves why it is that we are doing what we are doing. Now, I think that school is a very foundational thing. I think the most important thing that one could ever learn how to do is read. But if all you're ever reading is what the school system is giving to you, if all you're ever interpreting is all the news is all that the news is giving you, if all you are ever interpreting is the things that the people around you are saying to you, you are missing out on a significantly large portion of a life that you are not even conscious of, that is capable and that is existent around you. When I was super out of shape, when I smoked weed every day, when I drank every weekend, when I was addicted to pornography, when I always was living for the next high, I didn't realize that there was so much more to life than these worldly pleasures. And I wasn't consciously aware of them until I became sober. I went on a study abroad to London for about 3 months. I lost all contact with anybody who could get me weed, anybody who could party. I could drink there, but I was never into drinking. And I realized that this voice, this conception of God, which I had previously shunned and believed not to be real, suddenly became louder. And my intuition, the voices in my head guiding me towards a purposeful existence, began to become louder and louder and louder. I began to become guided in a wiser direction, and I was not capable of hearing God's voice or the universe's intuition or my own subconscious's will for me to do something great with my life until I became fully sober from weed and alcohol. And this is something that I think many people do not conceptualize, because from a very young age, they start doing these drugs. From a very young age, they start scrolling social media 24/7. From a very young age, they start getting addicted to nicotine, and they never are able to conceptualize the fact that their brain truly hasn't fully developed yet. And I was a stoner when I was 15, and I believed, well, fuck it, I'm gonna die anyways, this doesn't matter. It wasn't until I became sober from weed that I had the largest realization that changed the entire course of my life, and that was, truly, my brain hasn't developed yet. And similarly to, I assume you can remember when you first became conscious, around 7 or so, and there was probably a moment in your life when you were like, okay, this is life. I know I personally remember that situation. There are going to be a lot more revelations that will come later in life that you may be permanently halting as a result of doing these substances. Now, I don't think they're the worst thing in the world to do, nor do I think that they are a fault on you for doing drugs, for drinking alcohol and going out on the weekend. There is a very clear distinction between not doing something because the Bible says it's bad, not doing something because you think you're better than these people who don't do drugs and don't smoke weed, and genuinely understanding that these people who are going down this route of a constant consumption of social media, constant consumption of drugs, constant consumption of pornography, constant consumption of dopamine is entirely holding them back from a life and purpose that they will never be able to discover until they overcome these very vices that they know deep down are holding them back. And it's the message that I'm wanting to give to you, which is to seriously consider taking a week off or 2 weeks off, just deleting all your social media, getting away from those friends who you smoke weed with for just a little bit, and to reflect on where your life is going, to sit down and to ask yourself, what is it that I want to do with my life, and to commit towards it. Because, dude, no one is coming to save you. I didn't grow up with much of a father figure, and I had to come to this realization myself, because my parents never realized that nobody was coming to save them. And now they're to the point where they can't even save themselves. They have ill health. They don't take care of themselves. They don't even listen to their own son who is in shape and has experienced more life because of the habits that I have instilled into myself at a young age to give to them, because their own brain can't accept the fact that what they're doing may not be serving them. And I want you, brother, to lower your ego, to lower your pride, and to understand that you are not perfect. To understand that there is always improvement that should be made. And to understand that the number one thing you should be chasing is not God, but your highest version of yourself, which can be akin to God. I believe that the best interpretation that I've had of God that has served me personally the best is to do all the work myself and pray like it was God that did it, because that keeps you humble and open to learning. I am not saying I am perfect. I do not believe I am perfect. I was just stressing out not that long ago because my girlfriend who I was talking to, I felt like I was kind of rude to her, and I don't want to hurt her feelings. But then afterwards I came to my senses, and an inner tuition came to my brain because of my purpose that I have locked on to my life to make this video, to say this to you. I don't want to say that that's God, because there's so many creators that are just like, God says this, click this video, and it's just like, I don't really fuck with that, to be honest. But this is a message that I think needs to be heard if you are a young man, or if you are even an older man. There are so many people, brother, who get into this habit of drifting, right? I like to think of my girlfriend's, the town that she came from. She's around all of these people who are in this small town. They all love to drink, they all love guns, and they're killing themselves with the alcohol they're drinking, the risks that they're constantly taking due to the alcohol that they are always under the influence of, and also because they don't conceive or conceptualize of a greater future other than drinking alcohol. And brother, when my girlfriend moved away, she realized that there is so much more to life than these substances, which ultimately hold you back from more life. Your tolerance can only get so high until all you want to do in life is drink. Okay? Your tolerance can only get so high with the pornography you're consuming until the point where you're watching horrible shit and you get clapped by the fucking law enforcement because your porn addiction went so deep. Brother, you need to understand that this road is a very, very short one. The one of constant consumption will lead you nowhere. You will look back after years of your life, after moments of your life where you spent it just going out on the weekends and then spending the following week recovering from the alcohol that you drank the previous weekend, just to repeat it over and over again, that you'll realize that you are getting older and you are dying, but there is no more life that is being created. Brother, write that down. That was bars right there. But seriously, I want you to understand this route for what it is, brother. And I want you to understand that there are so many things in this life that you are not even able to conceptualize of, when you are constantly under the influence of these substances that do nothing but lower your inhibitions, lower your self-respect, and lower your ability to live a life that you truly can look back on and say, I am proud of myself. It is the people around you, brother. If you feel the need to hide anything that you are doing, if you feel shame for the alcohol you are drinking, if you wouldn't tell your parents stuff that you are doing, it is a sign that you know deep down, brother, that it is not serving you. Okay? I want you to understand that you always vaping, you always jerking off, you always drinking, it keeps you from having rational thought in your brain, as does the food you are eating when it is fried, unhealthy, and it is processed. It keeps you from conceptualizing of the life that is truly around you. Your brain is kind of always in a hazy fog, and you can't even conceptualize it until you can look back after being healthy and realize how lost you truly were. Brother, I hope this message is getting towards you, and I hope that you are listening to it and actually understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth, because there is so much life that probably a close 98% of people around you are completely missing out on because they think that the route to go is constant consumption. And brother, I'm telling you that what you have to do is you have to curate your environment away from eating unhealthy food. You have to curate your environment away from doing these substances that make you disappointed in yourself. And you have to curate your relationships around you so that they cultivate the truly highest version of yourself that you want to be. I remember when I was a young kid and I was out of shape and I saw people who were in shape, I instantly felt inferior. And it wasn't because those people were mean to me. It was because I knew truly deep down that I was not living up to my highest self. And it felt easier to make myself the victim and to consider them lucky for having this discipline that they somehow magically had instilled onto them. I want you to realize, my brother, that all of these things that people have that you want, you can get. You can get healthier. You can get in shape. You can get the girlfriend that you've always wanted. You can get that house that you want. You can get everything you need. You just need to learn how to do it. And the school system is not going to teach you how to do that. You have to educate yourself outside of the school system because, brother, it is possibly the most unrighteous thing you could do to actively choose to not educate yourself. I recently listened to a podcast that my buddy Dylan Ostendorf posted with the head of the philosophy department at my university. And he said out of all the philosophy that he's read, this is the guy who was the head of a university, he said the most unvirtuous thing you can do is not dedicate yourself to continuous learning. Brother, there are so many things that you don't know that you don't know. And I am the same way. These are things that I need to realize as well and things that I need to work on. But brother, knowledge truly is power. And that sounds corny when I say that. And I don't mean power in the realm of being better than other people. I mean power in the realm of having control over your life, brother. You are going to look back if you continue to go down this route of constant consumption where you're just working a job that you're kind of halfway satisfied with, and you're going to look back and you're going to realize that you truly have no freedom. You didn't educate yourself on finances and you spent your money frivolously, and so now you don't have the freedom to quit your job. Okay? You didn't choose to build and develop healthy habits at this current moment, and you instead tried to put it off to a later date, and now you're not able to function and move, and you can't hike, and you can't bike, and you can't swim because you're unhealthy. You huff and puff going up the stairs because of years of neglect, because you never learned what it takes to actually get yourself into good shape. You never dedicated current hours of your life towards the future version of yourself so more life could be elicited. They always say when you drink, it takes the joy from the next day. If you continuously do that over the span of months, even if it's just each weekend, you are taking all the joy from your future and you are sucking it towards the current moment. Do you always want to be in a state of recovery? Do you always want to be in the state of withdrawal? Do you always want to hear that cigarette nagging at you to go outside and smoke it? Or that vape that's always calling your name? Do you always want to hear those friends that you want to hang out with, but it's not because you value them as friends, but because they have weed to smoke or alcohol to drink? Do you always want to be pulled by your vices and your addictions, or do you want to have self-control? Because my brother, having the ability and the self-respect to say no to these people is the number one thing that will give you that more life that you want. You must practice things that make you proud of yourself. You must wake up in the morning and make your bed. You must wake up in the morning and have some mindfulness meditation. You must not touch your phone for the first hour of the day. And you must truly dedicate your life to some form of continuous learning rather than continuous consumption. Because you can only consume so much until your mind becomes gluttonous like the body that you have because of the shitty food you've eaten. You must audit all of the things that you are consuming, and you need to ask yourself if the future version of yourself, if they were looking back at the current moment of where you are, would they advise you to continue to do those things, or would they tell you to pick up a book and read instead? Because my brother, in that moment when I thought my life was ending, I would have given anything to get a second chance and to begin to live virtuously rather than for selfish pursuit of my own pleasure. Selfish pursuit of the pornography I was addicted to for 10 fucking years since I was 8. Selfishly pursuing the weed that I wanted to smoke and the parties I wanted to go to just because we knew a guy who knew a guy and our mutual friend was weed. You need to understand, brother, that there is ways to have fun other than these substances. There are ways to have more life that is more enjoyable away from this continuous consumption cycle. And you need to realize that it is truly only you that is going to save you from this negative cycle of constant consumption, whether it be alcohol, porn, junk food, whatever you want to call it, brother. And I do not want you to have a near-death experience or for you to be lying on your deathbed and to look back and say, I did not do much with my life. I could have done way more. I could have been way more in shape. I could have taken my body to things I could have never imagined, and yet I decided to sit down and drink alcohol and have funny moments with my friends who did not stay around very long at all, because the only thing we shared in common was the drug that we were taking. And so if you align with these things that I'm saying, and there's a calling in your head that there is something greater, the thing I'm going to advise you to do is, 1, schedule a call with me, but 2, read a book. The first one I would suggest reading would be Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. This book explains how the devil has a hold on you while you are alive, not when you are dead. And it is very akin to the very things I've been listing throughout this video. That book will change your life. They have a free audio book on YouTube. Listen to it when you're commuting. You have time. Everyone has the same 24 hours. You have time to listen to the book that will change your perspective on everything and will contribute to more life. Your future self depends on listening to that very book. Outwitting the Devil. 2, read Atomic Habits. This book will teach you how to build positive habits that will keep you from doing the negative things in your life and will bring you towards the things that will give you a positive life. 3, Psychocybernetics. This book will teach you how your mind truly works without you realizing it. But you'll not be able to even conceptualize of the concepts it is saying if you are constantly under the influence of some substance, or you are constantly recovering from your last binge drink or binge smoke or porn session when your dopamine receptors are all fried. And the 4th book that I would recommend that you absolutely must read is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Brother, I want you to realize that no one is coming to save you, okay? I want you to realize that these things in your life that you deem important, your future self may not think they are important, okay? And so think of some sort of direction where you want to go. What does the highest version of yourself do? What routine do they do? What habits do they practice? Do they go to the gym? Do they eat healthy? Do they practice martial arts? Do they have a large group of friends? Do they have a lot of money? Those for me are my 5 things. And so I must learn about the things in order to get the knowledge to be able to do those things myself. And that is why I read the books that I read, because I set out with a fucking goal. Tomorrow never comes. The current moment is always now, and you can only ever do something in this current moment. And so relinquish your worries about the future and the past. Quit identifying with the things you've done in the past and realize that you, watching this video, you are reborn from this current moment. Anything in your past that you attribute to yourself is not real. It has never been real. The current thing you only ever have is this current moment. And so start looking at things from your highest version of yourself and ask yourself, would the highest version of myself do these things? Invest in things that will benefit the future of yourself rather than the things that will take away the joy from tomorrow. Psychology of money. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Outwitting the Devil, Atomic Habits. Those are about the books that will change your life. They will truly change your life. You need to make learning and growing as an individual being your source of entertainment. Not TikTok, not Pornhub, and God knows whatever else you're watching. Not Instagram Reels, not Snapchatting your buddies who wouldn't give a fuck if you dropped off the face of the planet. Not drinking every single weekend, not smoking weed every single day, not vaping. It's the things that will make you look back at yourself and say, I overcame a lot of shit. Because, brother, I can tell you, now being virtually vice-free, other than my vice probably being working and talking a little too much, I can tell you that more life is in fact elicited when you beat your weed addiction, when you beat your alcohol addiction, when you beat your nicotine addiction, when you beat your porn addiction, when you beat your social media addiction. When you beat all these addictions, the life you want to live just comes easier. And so, brother, I insist on you reading Mindset by Carol Dweck, Atomic Habits, as well as Dopamine Nation. Those would be the ones that you need to do to get over your vices. And Atomic Habits will help you seal the deal. I think I already said that. I've already said that like 4 times. But brother, I want you to realize, man, like, this stuff really is so fucking important. This is the most fucking important shit you could even ever worry about, dude. And if you are not someone who can conceptualize of the importance of actually taking authority and putting the key in the ignition to your own fucking life and starting it, you're going to die on your deathbed wishing you had pressed go. Brother, however many years old you are is how many years ago your life started. There will never, ever be a better time to start building good habits and to build the future of yourself that you can look back on and be proud of than now. I want you to think of where your life will be if you keep neglecting yourself. Where your life will go if you keep up with the habits that you currently have. And I want it to scare the ever-living shit out of you, because that is where you will end up. You need to run away from that and run towards the life that you will have if you fix all of your habits. Then and only then will change be elicited. But you need to realize where you're going if you keep neglecting your health, if you keep neglecting the relationships that you're around, if you keep neglecting yourself in general, brother, if you keep putting yourself below other people, if you keep allowing yourself to go into peer pressure situations because you don't have the balls to actually exert yourself on the situation. There is no one else who is going to save your life. There are going to be people around you who will think that you think you're better than you because you're not doing cocaine alongside them. There are going to be people who will wake you up to the sound of a 3-foot bong with a dab banger and a torch, smoking weed dawn till dusk, calling you an asshole because you want to do something with your life. Don't let them fucking win, brother. Do not let them fucking win. Because there is a life inside of you that just needs to be released if you simply put the fucking key in the ignition and start it. Because the latter is so much worse. It's looking back after 60 years of neglect and realizing that you were going the wrong way the entire fucking time. This shit is so important, man. It's so fucking important. I'm not screaming. I mean, I am offering a service. So I'm not going to lie that there is some monetary benefit in it for me. But brother, I say this to my closest friends. I instill hope into my girlfriend. I instill hope into my parents and my grandparents. And they have seen more life as a result of the things that I have said towards them. Because truly, brother, I know how bad life can fucking suck when you just feel like you're stuck in the suck. There is a way out, and it happens through changing your habits. It happens through auditing your environment, your cycles, your relationships, your ambiance, as in your physical environment. Is your room setting you up for failure? Your feed, are you watching the news? It's not helping you. And your time, where the fuck is your time going? You must audit all these things. And I do that in my program, and I help you specially design your environment to make sure, without a doubt, that you will not be disciplined in an undisciplined environment. You will make a disciplined environment, so by sheer drifting, you will just naturally become a disciplined person. Because people do not build discipline by sheer willpower. They build it by curating their environment for them to be a product of it. If you're currently a product of your environment and it's negative, you need to fucking change your environment. And that is auditing your cycles, auditing the relationships you have around you, auditing your bedroom and the locations that you frequent, auditing your feed, how much social media you're consuming, the garbage that you're watching on the television or the news, and seeing where your time is going. Because when you're unconsciously drifting through life and you don't know about these 5 things, you are going to be shocked when after 10 years you look back and you didn't do shit. Because your whole life you've been told that more life would come from following the status quo. And then you'll realize that they were fucking lying to you and that life started the second you came out of the fucking womb. Take initiative. Much love.